Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man Sai. And today we're going to be talking about Liverpool's 3-1 win over AFC Bournemouth. I want to say a big thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone who made the first video on wataru ENDO, an outstanding success. The likes on the video truly make a huge difference. If you enjoyed this video as well, please remember to smash that like button, and all the comments, I truly take my time to read them thoroughly and I reply when I can. I'll get through them all eventually. Us Liverpool fans in Japan are truly passionate about the Red, and I cannot tell you how excited we are about Endo's arrival at the team, his introduction into the British culture, and obviously following his dreams. The media coverage in Japan has been absolutely outstanding. Celebrations, fanfare, wow. We all shared a cheeky sake, shochu, umeshu, really good by the way, sake, rice wine, umeshu, plum wine, shochu, sweet potato wine. It's good stuff, try it. Wait a minute, I think we wore red. Okay, yes, so this performance actually gave me incredible encouragement for the upcoming season, and I'm going to tell you why, a few things that you may have missed. So, what's very important from this type of match early in the season is not just the performance itself, but it's little characteristics that you notice in and between different phases of the game. So, a game plays out like a story. There are ebbs and flows, peaks and troughs, and what you notice, let's compare this with Manchester United against Tottenham, right? I would say Manchester United started off really well. Could have even been 1-0 up. When Tottenham scored the first goal, the heads went down. The cohesiveness of the teamwork wasn't there. They fell to pieces. Okay? Trust in the manager, trust in the game plan, trust in your fellow teammates. It's very evident when you watch them closely, when you know what to look for. Liverpool, it was a very slow start. We were under the cosh, we made mistakes, we were lucky to get away with an offside goal. They carried on with the game plan. It's trust in the plan, trust in the tactics, trust in the manager. Okay. The ball. The no-look pass from Van Dijk into Trent. And we're going to talk about this positionally before we go into ratings of the players. So, Trent, outstanding technically, very gifted. The Scouts heartbeat. Lots and lots of positive attributes. But one thing that determines for me why he cannot start in the 6th position and why he shouldn't be fully converted into a midfielder is because let's not talk about the player, let's talk about the function. What do you want to do with a player with those technical attributes of Trent Alexander-Arnold? You want to get him the ball so he can face forwards and break the lines with a pass, or a cross or something. You want to get him into the, let's say, the right-sided number 10 role, because functionally last season it was between him, ENDO and Salah, who have that triangle on the right-hand side. As Klopp mentioned, it's not important who is in that position, it's that somebody of that 3-person triangle is in a position to do their function. When you have ENDO in that right-sided 10 slot, that kind of open half space, he's got a cross, but that's about it. He's not going to drive proficiently. The times when he has got to the byline and brought it back has been very effective indeed, but you're going to want Trent in that space because his creativity and his goal expectancy is much higher than ENDO in that position. But this season it changed. We have sexy SZOBOSZLAI now in that right-sided central 8 position. And what that means is to get a player of that caliber into that half space in between the striker, overlapping full-back. That means that SZOBOSZLAI's goal expectancy, his creativity and his all-around attributes are perfectly made to slot in that area, which means it's not as crucial to get Trent into that role. So what's the advantage of having Trent as that defensive midfield, kind of inverted right fullback, forcing Konate to cover him out wide, or even SZOBOSZLAI to drop back into the pocket? Well, the fact that he can ping the ball around, obviously, is his strength, and also the diversity of passing, especially in the absence of Thiago Alcantara, to be able to break the lines with a pass, shift it to one side and ping the ball through in between the lines of 2 players, opposition players, get it through that player on the turn in half space, and off you go, bomb on to the opposition. Okay, there's 2 ways to break the lines, with a pass and driving through, and we're going to talk about driving through later on, but Trent has the ability to break the lines with that pass, with a bit of finesse, with a bit of curve on the ball as well. That's very important. Thiago is a master of that type of pass. When you saw Thiago enter the Liverpool field, you know for certain that that pass is going to come through one way or another. Trent can provide that pass as well. But one of the things he really lacks is, unfortunately, that concentration to always be on the ball, on the money in terms of what's going on. Can I receive the pass? Can I receive the pass? Kind of like that Red Bull caffeine junkie that you need in the middle, kind of like, come on, I'm ready, give me the ball. Our Trent is definitely more of a kind of cool customer, isn't he? He's like, can do what I want with the ball, baby. Woo! Sorry, technical issues. But yeah, there's two type of players that really kind of suit the 6 kind of personality and technical as well. So the Endo kind of player, let's get onto Endo. He's probably like, give me the ball, give me the ball, I'm ready for the ball, I'm ready for the ball. He probably repeats it to himself a million times. He wears that gum shield like, and then you got the Javi Hernandez, the kind of Thiago Alcantara, silky seal. They expect you to play the ball. If they move into that space, even a half space, even under pressure, when they move and make a move for the ball, they know the ball's going to come into them, almost expecting it. They are the center of the world, center of the universe. The world revolves around them, the ball gets drawn to them, kind of gravitational pull of their outstanding quality. That's the kind of 6 who you know on the turn, 360 vision, you've kind of landscaped the surroundings around you, you know what's going on, you've got a vision in your head what you're going to do with the ball, your body is positioned right, you've got the kind of aggressive G'ing yourself up Endo, and you've got the kind of technical maestro who the world revolves around. They're the ones. Trent has the technical attributes to do that, but the concentration value is kind of intrinsic. It's very hard to train the ability to stay aware all the times when you're not particularly in that phase of play. And we noticed with the first goal that he lost, he wasn't ever properly set right to receive that ball from Van Dijk. I'm sorry, it's too hot. And it's always just that split second too late, like the ball over the top, you know, behind the fullback. People have criticised him before. But as a function, he still has an important role to play in that transition. And it's very important to get him into the space so he can get his head up, get him on the ball, because he is one of our most productive outlets. And speaking of functions, I know everyone wants to talk about Cody Gakpo in the left-sided 8 position. Come under way of a lot of criticism, people saying he's wasted there, shove him up front, we need him as the false 9. But hear me out for a second, and then hopefully it might change your mind as to why he has attributes that suit that position quite well, functionally, as a function. Okay, let's take the name away from it for a second. Manchester City and Liverpool, if you're doing the eye test alone, when is the most effective, devastating transitional play? When does it look like they're most likely to score a goal that on the break? It's when one of the 8s, either side, break the lines with a bursting run. So there's 2 trains of thoughts in kind of ball sports. One is the ball will always move faster than you ever will. Pass the ball, play from there, right? But when you pass the ball, you enter a different phase of play. When the ball hits the next person's feet in that zone, the shape changes, the mindset changes, it's the next zone, the next phase of play. When you have the ability for someone, let's say Gerrard for example, De Bruyne, absolutely excellent at it, Bernardo Silva unfortunately, in our case SZOBOSZLAI and Cody Gakpo, Ox used to do it a lot. When you have someone who on the turn or on a 50-50 or in a congested area can break the lines by forcefully running through that central area, it's almost the same impact as Klopp mentioned. Again, pressing, turning over the ball, counter pressing, winning the ball, the best playmaker you can ever have. It's the same kind of idea, because in the same phase of play, right, where the team's shape, the opposition team's shape is set, you have broken that first line, which means the next line, the next player who confronts this player has a choice to make. Do they keep their shape against a current player and the cohesiveness and the closeness of that unit on that area of the pitch, controlling that area, or do they now have to react to that oncoming threat because he's broken the first lines? Okay, and this is where, coming back to Trent and someone like Endo in the 6th position, you have to have experience in that number 6 role to know what to do. You've been through that situation again and again and again, and what is the most likely chance for you to be able to kind of close that gap and make sure that you're not under the cosh, under the threat and presenting a goal scoring opportunity. You have to make the right decision, and that's where I feel Trent doesn't have the experience in the number 6 role to snuff that out. And that is why someone like Gakpo in the 8th position is vital, because what does he offer as a function there? He's got a safe pair of feet, you can play the ball to feet. Physicality is very strong, so in the phase of play when you're talking about set pieces, he adds height. Okay, we're becoming a very tall team. Gakpo, SZOBOSZLAI, obviously Van Dijk, Konate, even Nunes when he's on the pitch. Jota is really good in air. Endo is really good in air. It's quite a beastly set piece unit here. We won lots and lots of set pieces, didn't make the most of them. But Gakpo as well can shoot from range. He's comfortable on both feet. His link-up play is pretty good, as we know, which is why you want him in that false 9 position, right? Dropping deep to link up the play. He offers a lot of versatility and lots of ability to mix up the style of play and the way of playing down that particular side. When you've got a kind of mercurial talent like Luis Diaz on the left there, all you want is a transitional player who can be multifunctional, multifaceted. Doesn't need to go around the outside. Gakpo is quite adept at actually coming from the left wing. If you look at him in the previous club, you could cut him from the left wing, shoot across. He's got a fantastic cross as well. So Luis Diaz, you give him the ball, let him do it once, you react based on when he's coming inside or going around the outside. Traditionally, he comes on inside. The versatility of Gakpo in that number 8 position is super strong, especially when you consider the fact that it's probably McAllister's role, right? And we know that he's been shunted back into the 6th pivot because of, you know, lack of personnel. Hopefully Endo will unlock that. You know, hopefully his red card gets rescinded. McAllister is. It was a joke of a challenge. It was no force whatsoever. 50-50, side foot, studs on studs. It should be rescinded. I'm hoping he's available for Newcastle. Very important. But Gakpo, I think, suits a function. You can't just say he's not playing well, he's not doing the right things. He's doing the function that's necessary for that particular role, almost like Wijnaldum. He is a very proficient recycler of the ball, and he's safe. He's safe in that position. You may say bring in Curtis Jones, bring in Harvey Elliott, bring in other players, right? But you're talking names here. What is the function that they can perform that Gakpo is not performing? Even if he's under par in doing those particular attributes, he still offers it throughout the 90 minutes, which means that the game plan that Klopp has set for that area of the pitch is still in place. It's only when you want to alter the game plan for that particular section of the pitch would you change personnel if you've got a change of system or you're reacting to something that the opposition does. So as a function, I can see why Klopp persists with Gakpo. He's got a great engine, great enthusiasm, he's disciplined, he can do all facets that role requires, and he offers the added benefit of in positions of threat, he can shoot either foot, he's good in the air, he's got good cross, and he can link well with Luis Diaz or drop back to allow Robertson to overlap. So left sided number 8, it's a function. It's not a sexy function, but he's got attributes for it. Now, enough waffling on about functions and ideas. Let's talk about the game itself, right? Alisson Becker, let's go with ratings first and foremost. 7 out of 10, he was solid. Distribution was okay. He was authoritative, claimed the ball quite a few times, no chance on the goal, went through Van Dijk's legs. That reactive save, opposite direction to where he was going, low down, very solid. I would say nothing negative around his performance. Nothing outstanding. Distribution seems to have slowed down a bit. He's not releasing those quick balls, maybe because of the positional play of the position, or our players just weren't set for it. I actually rate Andoni Iraola as a manager. He's always been tactically very sound, even as a player himself. He had a kind of breakthrough season at that right back slot, where, you know, a lot of people were highly rating him. I liked him as a player. I like him as a manager. I think they'll do good things. Quite courageous way of playing. Alisson Becker, rating of 7, I think is fair enough. Trent, we've talked about Trent positionally as number 6 inverted right fullback. Defensively, he kind of grew into the game as well. As I mentioned, they didn't let their heads drop down at 1-0. They carried on with the same idea, the same tempo of play. He's not the creative outlet that he was last season, but once again, he doesn't need to be, because he's not having to do that role because of Henderson's, you know, appearance in the side, or whoever is the right-sided 8. SZOBOSZLAI adds a lot to that right-sided flank, which allows Trent to be a bit more conservative, follow on from his, you know, kind of defending discipline. And he was okay. He's not great. He was okay. His mistake, obviously, led to their goal. Gonna give him a 6. Could even be a 5.5, but a 6. He wasn't terrible. It was an okay game. The game kind of passed him by a little bit. Van Dijk, he was solid, but one thing I want to say about Van Dijk, when Endo came on and a true defensive midfielder with that mindset, even though we were down to 10 men, obviously we closed up shop, we left Salah up front, we kind of tightened the midfield, we forced him out wide, put into kind of central unit. It's kind of a low block in the middle, your banks of 4, 4, 4 and a 1 at the top. Van Dijk looked absolutely monstrous when Endo, defensive midfield shield, the line was in front of him. When you play the kind of progressive, pushing box formation, if you want to call it that, he has a lot of responsibility to actually be a bit of a front foot defender and a bit more aggressive, something that's probably more suited to Konate, because Van Dijk is very kind of composed. I think he had a good game overall. I'm very happy to give Van Dijk an 8. Some people have rated him slightly lower, but I'm very happy to say that Van Dijk looks solid. Okay, not actually back to his best yet, but he's solid enough. And that partnership with Ibu, front foot defender, aggressive. The ball is getting to Ibu quite a lot, and he doesn't have the majestic ball playing skills of, you know, the most silky centre backs, but he's not bad. He's got that ball pace. He's willing to push the ball forward into the player's feet. He's willing to, on turn, go forward a bit as well. He's not as jinky and as dribbly as Joel Matip. Not many defenders are, but solid, monstrous. Partnered with Van Dijk, they both get an 8. It was quite promising. And talking about promising, Robertson's return to form. Now, it's been a bit unfair on Robertson because he's quite limited in play build-up because he's very, very one-footed, right? And when you force him slightly inside into a kind of inverted left-back role, when he's not overlapping down the left or marauding, you lose a lot of his qualities, or a lot of his visible qualities. But what he will always do, and this is something I'm really, really happy with Robertson, with ENDO, with Gakpo, with SZOBOSZLAI, with McAllister, their positional discipline. Okay, it's not very often, and especially in this game against Bournemouth, did the opposition have a clear route to build up something in a closed space in his zone. Robertson is very positionally disciplined, and it's hard to notice because it's all off the ball stuff. But I'm really, really satisfied with how Robertson played that game off the ball. On the ball, great, consistent, steady Eddie, easy going, nice. Let's give him a 7. He was good. I would even raise it to 7.5. Positionally, he's very good, cutting off the half spaces. That's the defense sorted. When you go into the kind of midfield, McAllister wasn't his best game. He's always silk. He's always very tidy. Ball to feet. The red card, it was a joke. It kind of ruined the tempo of the game, but it gave us kind of renewed vigor and discipline. And it's really, really interesting how, let's say, for example, when Chelsea were down to 10 men and Diogo came on with minimal practice, Klopp just said, play your natural game. You're going to move the tempo, keep us flowing, constant attacking pressure and verve. Similar to when McAllister got the red card, when ENDO came on, right? Klopp would have told him, just play your natural game. There's no time for him to settle in, absorb tactical discipline. He just had to do what he knows best and what he's used to, which is why the experienced head is very, very important. He's calm, he's composed. He had pluses, he had minuses as well. Something that is very, very positive. When he went clean through single-footed slide tackle, the crowd at Anfield revved up. Wow, we loved it. We were like, come on, go on ENDO. That's my boy. Yep. So he can G up a crowd, right? He has a Mascherano type quality there. He's passionate, he's aggressive, he's front-footed, he's in there as well. But the most impressive thing about ENDO and McAllister and SZOBOSZLAI, which is why I'm very, very encouraged by this 3, the body language of the player passing the ball to these particular midfielders. You can tell in an instance, when you see them looking at that player, do they release it straight away? Do they go, this is it, safe pass, I'm happy? Yeah. McAllister, understandable. SZOBOSZLAI, understandable. They've played with him for a while in training, pre-season matches. With ENDO, they played the ball to him. They were very, very happy to have him as the metronome of that second half, playing the ball to him, letting him dictate play, shifting the ball side to side, simple passes. He is there for the simple passes. He's not there to be progressive, playing pass maker. You know, that's not his role in this particular function. Saying that though, he does try to be front-footed and does try to, you know, turn over the ball and get us going. But sometimes that does leave him vulnerable because he's not the quickest player, right? So when you have him against a speedy winger, an on-rushing player, when they've built up momentum, they will run past him. I think it happened once or twice. But something that's very, very key about his type of player, and Robertson said it very, very well in a previous interview, what do you do when you have a rampaging winger or someone who's turned you or someone who's approaching you? You've got a few modes of thought here. You try to win the ball. You try to decrease the pressure on the team and force them away, or you force them a particular direction, okay? You ask Robertson what was his strategy. Turn him inside Van Dijk. Tongue in cheek, but that could be very strategic. If you know that Van Dijk's going to clean up the ball, you got the ball, you can transition and play again. Why not? Do you remember Bolton? Bolton against Arsenal, Sam Allardyce back in the day. Bolton, closed cone triangle. Arsenal, have the ball. Shift it out wide. Arsenal, off you go. Go out wide. Arsenal, cross the ball from out wide. Cross the ball from deep. Get to the byline. Bolton, Loved that. And they bullied Arsenal. I think they won something like 3 games in a row against Arsenal. Those dirty Allardyce, Big Sam tactics. Because you've got to play against opposition in front of you and shift them either onto the weak foot or into a trap zone or somewhere of containment or somewhere where you know you have a chance to either win the ball or minimize the damage. That is what I think Endo, McAllister have in their mindset and in their game plan compared to someone like Curtis Jones or Trent in that particular 6 role. So I think an experienced 6 is super important. Thiago, how can you forget Diego? He will know all about, you know, zones of play as well. So I'm very encouraged by this midfield start, and I would give McAllister, I'd probably give him a 6.5 in this game. He wasn't outstanding, he wasn't terrible, he was okay until that joke of a red card. And just before we carry on, I've got to give out some awards here. Thomas Bramall, the on-field referee. Wasn't a great performance, my friend. That's why you earn the moist brown sticky unko. But beyond this, poor Tierney in the VRA room and that guy who elbowed Robbo, my goodness. Beyond the brown unko, you get the dry, absolutely toxic, dehydrated, black, rotten Unchichi. What are you doing, my man? What you got against Liverpool? SZOBOSZLAI was absolutely sensational, and not just his looks. He oozes confidence and charisma. He's got that cheekiness about him, but something that's very kind of pronounced as well. Someone mentioned, I think, that he's a Steven Gerrard regen. I would go very along the lines of he has a lot of attributes and functional qualities that Stevie G provided. Someone mentioned De Bruyne as well. So there are similarities there, but there's something that doesn't quite click for me. De Bruyne started as a right winger with a heck of a cross. He has the pace from a standing start. He has the technical ability, and he's very two-footed, De Bruyne as well. The vision is absolutely exceptional. De Bruyne is a very special talent. SZOBOSZLAI I don't see as that winger come attacking midfielder, central midfielder kind of conversion. He is an attacking midfielder along the 3 front rows. Okay, so you've got the 10, you've got the right-sided Mazzala, and the emergency wing as well. I wouldn't say he's an outstanding winger starting from the wing and cutting in, but he has a deceptively strong run. He's a solid, tall runner, and this is what I mean by putting SZOBOSZLAI on the right and Gakpo on the left. They have the ability to break the lines with an unexpected turn of pace, power, and physicality, and, you know, quick feet and little silky skills as well. When you have these two in it, it's very hard to tactically, as an opposition manager, prevent that first line breaking, because you've got Trent who can bypass it with a pass or vision or creativity similar to Thiago and to Bajcetic as well, right? And then you've got Gakpo and you have SZOBOSZLAI who can run and break the lines as well. Harvey Elliott is actually quite good at running and breaking lines as well, and he's pretty silky with a pass when he hits form. He didn't quite perform in this game, gave the ball away quite a few times, wasn't on the same wavelength as some of his teammates. Curtis Jones is what I call a retainer. He is like Wijnaldum, right? Very safe pair of feet to bring the ball into, and he can hold up and progress the team into a position on the pitch. Curtis Jones does not progress the pass with switches or anything of that kind of nature. He is a very Wijnaldum, well-rounded type. His offensive threat is curtailed unless you give him true freedom to burst into the box, but basically you deploy Curtis Jones anywhere, he'll do a job. He'll retain the ball, recycle it, keep it going, work hard. He's passionate, he's confident. He's got that arrogance as well, that cheeky arrogance. I like Curtis Jones. He needs to stay injury free. He gets a lot of freak injuries. Back to SZOBOSZLAI. Wowzers, that little jink, that little cut in onto the right hand side on the corner of the penalty box, he knew what he was doing. The little ecstasy dive, I love it. He was in heaven as soon as the foot came out. He was loving it. He was like, yeah. And his shooting prowess, right, is not to be underestimated. But I didn't know. This is something I didn't know about SZOBOSZLAI. He's a little bit shy when it comes to shooting. His national team manager encourages him to shoot more. He's got a hell of a shot. He needs to release the Kraken. The Risa Rocket. No, yeah. SZOBOSZLAI, top player, man of the match, well deserved. He gets a 9. Straight out 9, okay? Outstanding. As such, he wins the Shining Golden Boy Award, man of the match. Unkotan. He's got the stamina, he's got the heart, he's going to be a fan favourite, he's got the X Factor. X Factor! D-Generation X! DX! I'm getting a bit too excited. I'm aware the video is dragging on a bit, but I love to talk. Mo Salah down the ring. Down the ring? Sorry, I got wrestling on my mind. Mo Salah running down the wing. Okay. You're going to get these performances from Mo Salah. Some people saying, oh, is he over his peak already or inconsistent, he can't shoot. He's always been this player from the very first season to his best ever season to right now. His shots are very volatile, hit and miss. Beautiful curler with power, without power. Straight edge, cutting in, going around the outside. Selfish, assist maestro. He's everything and all in one. But what you always get with Salah is the presence. He will always make himself available for the ball. The opposition will have respect for Mo Salah. He's got an aura about him, whether it's the first minute or the 90th minute. If Mo Salah is running at you towards the penalty box area, there's expectation. Okay, there's expectation. Even when he takes a penalty, right? Sometimes players need to just get that goal to build up the confidence to take the more difficult placed penalty shot or to slot it in. He might have something in his contract, he might have an agreement with the manager verbally or otherwise that says if he's confident to take the penalty, he'll want to take the penalty. Statistics actually have a big bearing on inner confidence and how you approach the next game and how your mindset is towards cohesion with your teammates as well. Being a striker in field hockey, I know that when you score a goal, your whole performance lifts another 10-20%. You dash, you run, you make the extra sprint, you move into space, you do all the things that you're meant to do. By nature, you do it anyway, but you give that a little bit more. It's human nature. And Salah is a goal scorer. He lives on statistics, he lives on records, he shows his frustration, he's passionate, he's a loyal Red. He signed a contract, he's here to stay, back him. He's going to be up there in the goals by the end of the season. You won't remember things like, oh, he scuffed that penalty or, whatever. And then Luis Diaz, Lucho Diaz. I love me some Luis Diaz. Unpredictable. You know what he's going to do if he comes inside, but you can't stop him. He'll go outside if he wants to. He'll roulette shuffle and play. Mesmerized with his feet. He's hard working. He can distribute the ball. He can drop in deep. He can run in behind. He's not afraid to put his head where it hurts, as we saw last season when he got clattered. Luis Diaz is a humongous threat, and we need to keep him fit because he is like the original Mane that came to Liverpool. That burst of pace, the shooting prowess and ability. No fear whatsoever, and no respect for the opposition. He thinks he can do you and do you hard. Inside, outside, from behind, he's doing you. Heck, he can do me too if he scores like that. It was absolutely outrageous. Flick up, bang, in you go. Misdirection, keeper was going the wrong way, wrong footed. Luis Diaz opened the scoring for Liverpool in 2 successive games. Absolutely vital. You know that every goal is not equal. The opening goal that's scored for the team is absolutely vital, and he has that silky South American flair. Super, super important. He probably his first name on the team sheet. Apart from Alisson, right? But you're talking current vein of form, that confidence, that silkiness, that flair. You put Diaz against any defender in the world, he'll cause them problems. Forget the Carvajal thing, that was an anomaly. So for that outrageous flick, volley, goal, pure love, that was a moment, the romantic, silky, amore moment of the match. He gets the heart-filled unco. Lucho Diaz, love his form at the moment. I'm going to give him a solid 8. I really enjoyed that performance. Mo Salah gets a 6 for that performance. He scored the goal. He'll have these games. We know what he's capable of. He can get better and he'll move on. He'll get better. And now for another one who's coming for some criticism, Diogo Jota up front. Diogo. So I actually understand why Klopp keeps playing him up front. Pressing is not just the eye test, it's the effectiveness of the press, leading the press and bringing the players cohesion, bring the press into play up front, right? And for this, there's a few factors here. You need great communication. His English is obviously much better than Nunes. He is also a finisher, so when you have that gambit in terms of the ball bouncing in and around the area, when it's a scuffle, he's a reliable finisher. He is a finisher, right? That's what predominantly he does for Liverpool. Additionally, the link-up play and the build-up play, you'd have to put him above Nunes in the current state of play. And what Nunes brings is chaos, unpredictability, ability to run the channels as well. Fast, direct, hell of a shot, powerful, great in the air, but Jota is also a good header and great in the air. Both these players need to play themselves into form, but when you look at that unit and that function at the moment, communication, for me, is the reason why he's ahead of Darwin Núñez. That is the most important thing. When you're leading the press, when you're bringing the team forward, and when you bring the shape from side to side, when you're telling the person, I'm going, you follow me, and verbally and through my actions I'll tell you what to do, Jota is streets ahead of Núñez for now. Okay, Núñez will get there. He will get there. He's still very, very young. Jota has a responsibility to do that, and that is why he's up front leading by example. He may not always be flashy, he may not always be silky, he may not always connect the play. He didn't have one of his better games today, but that goal, how vital was that goal? Because that goal, down to 10 men, settles things. Absolutely settles things. Close up shop, Endo comes on. Fantastic way to introduce our man Endo. Jota for me gets a 6, okay? He wasn't terrible. He scored a good goal. He does his function for the team. It's a win. It's 3 points. Finally, a quick word about our boy Wataru Endo. Made us proud, my man. That's only a taste of what you guys are gonna get. He came here with no preparation, flying, last moment, the adrenaline still in his body. We're down to 10 men. He comes on, he's told to hold the line. Under the circumstances, I think he performed admirably. He's never going to make a fuss. He's going to do a job. He's going to give his best, front foot, doing what he knows. He hasn't built a chemistry and a connection with those particular players in and around him as well. He's unfamiliar with some opposition players as well. He doesn't know many players from Bournemouth. He doesn't know the characteristics, what they're expected to do. He's had no video footage. He has no preparation. All he had was a little notepad by Pep Linders or whoever, giving him instructions on what you need to do, the zones to cover, what we're trying to do as a team, as a function, as a fulcrum, anchor man, midfield general. I like what I saw. On to Newcastle. I'm pretty certain Endo starts. Come on, Reds, give him encouragement. You'll never walk alone, right? He epitomizes the fighting spirit, never say die attitude. He is the type of player you want when you're 3-0 down against Barcelona at Anfield. He will fight to the death. Thank you, Endo. Arigato gozaimasu. Taicho. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I requested 2 hours away from the little kids, one's 3, one's 1 year old, to quickly record this, get it out for the weekend, give you something to enjoy, my brethren back in the UK. Have a great weekend everyone. Please remember to like the video, help me beat the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy this analysis. Miyazaki man, life in Japan, Ichiban. Peace.